Is hosted by Tony Gapperstone. Thanks for tuning in. It's showtime.
Hey, showtime. Like none other before, because as the bumper videos were playing, I was fixing up my lights, making sure everything was figured out, running around, swinging up chords, and sitting down just as I heard my name. I am Tony Gapperstone, y'all. This is the Brave Maker podcast. You know that phrase, the show must go on? Today is one of those days where there's lots of shows going on, and they must go on. And that's what I love about this industry, is you never know what to friggin' expect. Today we have a really cool special guest that I met at Sundance. Can't wait to introduce you to, but I'd like to do an inclusive description. I am a Caucasian guy wearing a yellow shirt from my old podcast that I used to do called Holy Cannoli, wearing yellow glasses. I'm brown haired, and I have a striped wall to my right with green faux background and the pink word Brave Maker behind me. And today I have my co-host who gets to come on here on a regular basis to chat it up. I'm going to bring her in. Her name is Belgica Rodriguez.
Hi, I'm Belgica Rodriguez. Tony, I didn't know you had another podcast. I want to listen to that.
I did a long time ago.
But I am, I'll do my descriptions. I am a Mexican woman who's been in the U.S. since I was a little girl. Long brown hair. I have a sleeveless blouse on that's pleated and fuchsia pink with a dark gray backdrop. And I am an actor, YouTube content creator, and don't tell anybody, but I'm currently testing out producing.
Oh, yes. We're telling everybody that because Belgica has produced with me, and she's really good at it. So utilize that skill. All right, so episode 238, this is. We have a multi-hyphenate, and a lot of the guests that we have are multi-hyphenates because really to get any shiz done, you have to be a multi-hyphenate, as you just heard Belgica say. So let's welcome our 238th guest, Cylla. Cylla, welcome.
Hi, hello.
Glad that you're here. Why don't you do your introduction, your visual description, pronouns, all the stuff, where you're from, anything you want to say?
Totally. So hi, everyone. My name is Cylla Senii. I am Liberian and Chinese Trini. I'm originally from Queens, New York, and I'm also have grown up in Georgia. I'm currently in Atlanta. Her, wearing my colorful dress today.
Yes, you are. Cylla, you have all these things and you're at Atlanta. I love that. That's so rad. Welcome.
Yes,
all right. So I got to meet you at Sundance. So Belgica, I'm going to let her start the conversation and get into your backstory. But it's good to see you because last time I saw you was January and it was like freezing with all the things, and came to our party, our Brave Maker party. It was so fun. So glad to see you in this virtual reality, this digital world.
Yes, likewise. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Belgica, take it up.
Tony knows about you, but why don't you tell the rest of us about your origin story and how you got started in the industry?
Totally. So I have been working in TV and film for about 10 years now. I graduated from college and went straight to New York. So there I worked at different ad agencies. Then I ended up working in radio at Hot 97. Then I made my way to Nickelodeon. I was working in development. And at the same time, I ended up coming up with my first series called Situationships. And it just kind of sparked out of personal experience stories, just like what I thought could be a show, to be honest. I heard of the word. Me and all my friends were having horrible dating experiences, and I'm like, this should be a show. I was super inspired by all the Isas of the world and the Black and Sexies, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. But I didn't have any means to do so. I didn't. So I worked with some amazing filmmakers in New York City, and we banded together, all indie filmmakers, and we created this web series. This is my baby. And honestly, it's one of those interesting stories where, like, social media, grassroots promotions. I had a business card that traveled across New York with the poster on it, and someone from BET asked me if I wanted it on the platform, and I was like, yes.
Oh. So you didn't even look for distribution. Distribution found you through your business card.
It found me. And of course, you know, as filmmakers, we're always trying to figure out a means. We initially started on YouTube. So it was YouTube. We got half a million views on YouTube for our season 1. And then for season 2, I had all my little materials. I majored in advertising, so I'm good at my marketing. And someone saw it. So it's one of those happy stories where someone finds you.
It's super cool because, you know, when I said I met you at Park City, Sundance, and, you know, you and Priscilla, so Priscilla Lamb, who's on our Brainmaker team, she's actually on set today producing. She connected us, and I saw you at the Macro Lodge, and you just had this vibe and this aura, you know, people who walk into a room and they own it, right? They know things are going on. And then just being able to like hear what you had accomplished, it did feel very Issa Rae like, and a ground kind of level, boots on the ground kind of thing. And I think, you know, Belgica's doing a web series right now too. I think we still don't know, you know, what's happening in entertainment and in Hollywood. And at one point it felt like everyone's like, oh, web series, they're so out. But no, everybody is still looking to see, can you make stuff? Can you get it off the ground? So can I ask, like, when it came to situationships, like the BET, you know, thing that came from it starting, that must have been like for you, like, oh, hello, dollar signs. Someone's gonna pay me now. Can you talk about like taking the creative idea and turning it into the business relationship?
Totally. So mind you, I was right out of college. I didn't know like the business side of it. So I had to get a production company. I had to make one. I had to have a legal entity to go into these contracts. I had to get E&O insurance.
Mm-hmm. I know that. Man,
a child.
Yeah.
So me and my producer Brandon, he was so amazing. We worked together on just scrounging around trying to find funds, but pretty much it was my 9-to-5 funding my side hustle. It was credit cards that took me years to pay off. It was amazing friends doing favors. We all like just knew like this would be a big deal. We just had to just jump in and have it turn out. And sometimes that's the biggest thing, like taking that leap. So it was a lot. It was a lot that I learned in a short period of time. And I was like super grateful, you know.
At the time, were you primarily focusing on acting, or what were you doing right before you filmed the web series?
Oh my gosh. So what's funny is I actually started scrolling through my phone. I have like 40,000 pictures on my phone and videos, and I was just like looking at the tea. So yes, I moved to New York to pursue acting as well. So I performed off Broadway. I did commercials. I did a lot of indie films, shorts, web series while I was up there. I started getting a team. I was doing that at the same time while working corporately. So pretty much I would work all the time. I was working all the time. But what was interesting, another thing that was interesting was that we had our casting call And we actually did reviews. One of my friends worked at VH1, and I saw the picture on my phone, and I was like, we literally pulled up to VH1 and started sorting out these pictures, and we were like, we're gonna get it picked up. We took a picture, and within 2 years we got it on BET, which was in the same building as VH1. So I feel like just having a vision and like showing up, sometimes pulling up, believing, like if you don't believe in yourself, who will? So I feel like, yes, I was working corporately, I was pursuing my acting, and at the same time I created something for my acting as well.
Wow. Yeah, like Tony was just saying, I met a filmmaker last year at the Breakmaker Film Festival, and we also are doing a web series with an all-female cast and crew, and one of the comps is Awkward Black Girl. So it's very much like 7 to 10 minute episodes, and like you were saying, figuring it out as we go along.
Yes.
So Cylla, the business side of stuff,
Sure.
you know, now where you're at this place of like, hey, you have, is it two seasons?
2 seasons of the digital series. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a great resume to be able to say, like, I did all this stuff, and now I have 2 seasons. Now you're in Atlanta. So what do you do? What's that? What's happening now? Like, how did that parlay into some more business for you?
Absolutely. So Atlanta has been great. I did come here during the pandemic of it all. And, you know, I did grow up in Georgia half of the time as well. So I've been reconnecting with, you know, old bosses, old contacts, discovering new people, different studios. I actually live next to a studio. Ironically, I didn't know when I moved here, but just kind of fostering those relationships. And like a lot, I'm based here, but a lot of my work, like I'll travel for work. I'll travel to New York. I'll go to LA. I'll go abroad. And really, it's been like business wise, it's been great because I've had the time to just develop like all of my infinity stones. I have been in the house cooking up because I think the biggest thing is being ready for that moment. Like when someone knocks on the door and is like, hey, do you want your stuff on a network? Do you want your show on a network? I think it's about being ready and having all those materials ready. So a lot of my time here, I have literally been in the house during the pandemic, during the strikes. I've been in development.
So you just declared yourself Thanos of the creative empire you're building, which is great. Get those infinity stones. I like that. I think what I also hear you saying is like the time that it takes to really develop things, because, you know, both Belika and I have been in this for a while, and we're accruing our own IP and our own brands and our own, you know, platforms. Belika has a YouTube channel. I know I have Bravemaker, and I think I could speak for myself. You often think as a creator, like, okay, this one project is going to do it. It's going to what gets me in. And usually it's not like the first, the second, the third. Sometimes it is, but it's like after lots of experience, you can see some movement. In fact, I have a call tomorrow with something that I wrote 6 or 7 years ago that I thought was totally dead, that all of a sudden came to the surface. And I'm like, what? But you just never know, because now I'm way farther along on my journey and something else now has more relevance, or I'm a little bit more experienced to be able to make it happen now. So I think the thing I'm hearing you say is the takeaway is keep that marathon mentality in mind and just build and create. And that word development is not just for the studios and the Marvels. It's like, no, we are developing ourselves, and we're developing our own stuff now too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is a journey. And like, you know, I feel like sometimes as creatives, like we might feel like we're alone or no one's going through it. But to be honest, like when I connect with me and my friends, it's like we're all experiencing that marathon. And I feel like the biggest thing is to just not give up. Pretty much.
As cliche as it sounds, you cannot.
If you give up, you have your answer. If you don't, there's still a chance. So I have to tell that to myself too.
I think we all do, even like in between auditions, and I'm sure for you, like a writer, director, you get an audition and you get a no. You get an audition and you get a no. And it's the same thing with scripts. And when you finally get one, you're like, yay! But it's like yay for a second, and then you just have to keep auditioning, have to keep writing, have to keep coming up with like the next project that's gonna get you excited about like making something again.
Absolutely. And that is very, very true. I think, yeah, like as an artist, our journeys are always evolving. So it's just like doing things that make you happy, not losing sight of the joy of why you started. I think that's super helpful too, because we're in interesting times. But I also think that indie film right now, 2024, is very in.
Yes, I agree. Especially as an actor, I've been auditioning so much, and most of it has been for indie films, indie features, indie shorts. And I'm like, my YouTube channel is about acting, and I'm just telling people, like, you need to talk to more indie filmmakers. Like, even if you're not doing a dream role that you are getting paid a bunch for it, like a lot of newer actors thinks that that's what they want, but like what you really want is to be on set all the time and having so much fun. And I believe that indie work is where it's at.
Definitely. I agree. It's like, and you never know where those indie filmmakers will go.
100%. Or where they will be streaming, like on BT.
Exactly. You never know.
I think the industry doesn't know what's happening. Everybody's really trying to figure it out. With our film festival, we rent like a digital projection, cinema grade theater, and the theaters are really struggling. So they're trying to charge us, way more than we paid last year, and I'm trying to negotiate. And when I was talking with them today, they were just saying, we're really just trying to like calculate how we can keep staying in business. We want you as a partner, but we have to be honest that, if we do this, we just can't lose money, da, da, da. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't want you to lose money either. So we'll figure out how to make this work. But the industry is upside down right now. Nobody knows what's going to happen. And I think, like every so it's like cyclical, right? So there's always something that pops. When YouTube just came on the scene, everyone's like, wait, what's this? And then it's like all the social media stuff, like, TikTok, da, da. But I think the indie filmmakers, like, we have the opportunity to sway the industry. If we can be lucrative and strategic with stories we're telling, but also how we tell it, people will go, how did you do that? Okay, cool. If you were able to fund your own stuff, if you were able to get your team, your crew together without having a studio backing, well, what could you do if you had the backing? I think those are what I'm seeing is indie people being plucked out and brought into a system with more resources, because they don't want someone who doesn't know what the heck they're doing to be fluffing around with money, without knowing some backstory experience. So that's exciting for us, is just keep pushing through, take some risks, tell some cool stories, get it out there, just keep creating.
Absolutely. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like I said, jumping in and having it turn out, like, create, put it out there, get it out of your mind and get it out there, utilize the resources. You'd be surprised. I think, sometimes creatives don't always want to ask for support or ask for help, but hey, if you want people to know about it, you have to tell them.
Can I ask, with your Sundance experience, did you have any takeaways? Like, obviously it's so inspiring, but did you have any meetings or go to these workshops? Because I'm still thinking about Sundance. I have such a place in my heart for it. I already got my schedule for next year, got the Airbnb. If anybody wants to join us, let us know.
Okay.
Let me know. But like, what did you take away? What are some of the kind of the strategies, the goals that you have that you're trying to see in 2024 that came out of Sundance, out of curiosity?
Totally. I feel like it was amazing as far as networking and connecting at the top of the year. I feel like it set the tone. Like, it really set the tone for the year with the intention and just all of that creative energy in the room. I loved that. I also, I connected with people in development. I connected with different EPs. I ended up having meetings with people after that. I'm on your podcast after that. So like it was a beautiful experience, and I met some really beautiful souls, and we also can band together and create awesome things. So I highly recommend it. I want to be there next year. I heard Savannah. Is it going to Savannah?
Oh, okay. So they have it there for 2 more years. So
Okay.
so 2025 and 2026, and then the contract will be, will they still be there in 2027? But I just heard that Park City came back and said, we'll do whatever it takes. Like they don't, which is smart. They don't want them to leave, right? So it's kind of like a threat. But I know like even San Francisco put a bid in to bring Sundance, which is like, what?
The Bay?
Yeah. So New Orleans, I heard, was in talks. So there's a lot of different things. New Mexico, I saw a lot of stuff, a lot of rumors. So we'll see. We'll see.
Nice. Yeah, I'll definitely plan to go next year, and I think my friends are gonna come too.
Belgica, as an actor, I'm curious, like, for you, and so obviously you do acting too, just your view on the future just sounds like keep creating, keep making meetings, keep, trying to do the multi-hyphenate thing. Do you think every actor should be doing that? Do you think every actor should get off their butt and write something and make something? Because I know it's hard, I didn't want to write at first. I was like trying to, 2012, 2011, I was trying to hire somebody to write for an idea I had, and they were more of a successful screenwriter friend. They said, Tony, just do it. Just push through it. Don't pay me. Just you can do this. And I was like, wah. But now I'm so happy that I did. But what are your thoughts on that stuff?
Yeah. Do you want to go first, Belgica?
I want to hear your answer first because you go first, Cylla.
Totally. I feel like it's great either or. There's like, I have some amazing actor friends who they just act and they do a phenomenal job and they're booked and busy and they do it great. And then there are some creatives and artists out there that want to do both. I feel like the pro to getting into making indie films or creating your own art is that you're creating your own opportunities and you're picking yourself and you're choosing yourself and giving yourself that platform to be seen. And sometimes when you do that, it can get you in rooms that you wouldn't have imagined if you didn't do that. So I feel like that's like my pro. Like, I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't, but I'm saying if you do and you do it well, like you're creating your own platform and your own opportunities so that you get to choose instead of someone else picking you. And as actors, we know we have to be friends with rejection and that comes with the territory. So it's like, it's a way of empowerment is what I would say.
Yeah, it's good.
For me, I mean, again, I have a YouTube channel about actors, so I get a lot of feedback about what people want as far as their acting career. And I do not think that every actor should create their own work, because sometimes you do need to concentrate on taking your acting classes or doing your day job and acting, and your family and acting. So sometimes it's just like, it's not innately in you to create or to write or to whatever. But I think finding something that fulfills you, something that makes you happy, along with your like non-artistic life, along with your acting. Like for me, it was my YouTube channel. I started filming videos in 2017 because I wanted something creative to do. And I love editing. I love coming up with ideas. I love helping people. So I think actors should definitely open their minds to doing more things, because often newer actors would be like, nope, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to get the roles and I'm going to be in the next Bridgerton season. And that's it. It's going to be amazing. And then when that doesn't happen, because that doesn't happen 99.99% of the times, what are you going to do to make yourself happy? Like financial success and seeing your face on Netflix or Hulu or whatever, it's not happiness.
Yeah.
It is not happiness. So I think finding, if you want to stay focused and stay creative, then yes, finding something like producing, being a sound engineer, writing, whatever it might be. But I don't think every actor should, force themselves almost to be creative just because they want to be in this industry. Like if all they have the capacity for is acting, then do that, but make sure you're happy while you're doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's totally very true.
I think if we can look at our lives and tell ourselves, because I often would say, like the dream is to, and I have bigger dreams. I want to do my second feature. I did one, but I want to run a TV show, but I haven't done that yet. But if I can look at now going, I am living my dream. I get to do creative work. I get to write, direct, and produce pretty much full time. So it's sometimes just looking at right now going, okay, the grass isn't always greener on the other side, or it's not some fulfillment in the future. It's like, now live your dream now, do your dream now. And if that means doing a YouTube channel, like I love doing this podcast. Like I find such satisfaction in talking to people because I get educated, and then I can use this to share with other people. And then I also can expand my reach and our brand of Brave Maker where more people can hear about us. And I also feel like I get to educate people, not just like live, but we have 200 and some episodes, and everybody will say, oh, can I pick your brain? Can I take you out for coffee? I'm like, I really can't, but I have episode 400, whatever. I can send. Exactly. So I think this is something, my wife and I often talk about, like return on investment. I do a lot of free work. I do a lot of low budget work still. And sometimes I have to go, I probably can't do all these other things because it doesn't have a good return on investment. But I look at this and go, I know I do this for me and for others. It's only a few hours really, from before and after and during, and it does something in my heart and soul. And that checks off a box. So that's the success. So all the actors out there, I don't think everybody can and should be doing it, but if you can and want to, then try it. And some people do it and learn pretty quickly that they hate it and they don't want to do it. That's the cool thing too.
They do.
Experiment and learn and risk and that kind of thing.
And if there's any actors out there who are thinking of trying something new, because I recently started testing out producing, I would say also remember that difficult things can be good. So even if you do hate it at the beginning, analyze it. Why do I hate it right now? Is it too stressful? Is it just because it's new? But then like after I get through a certain threshold, is it going to be good? Because that's what I'm going through my producing, because I'm doing a lot of different things. And I'm just like, I've never had so many things on my to-do list. And I've had a lot of things on my to-do list. So also like give it a chance. I'm giving myself 10 projects for producing. And then after that, if my soul tells me, girl, stick to YouTube and acting, then that's what I will do. But
Nice.
So I would ask you, Cylla, what are some of your thoughts on making your own content? What are some of the best practices you've learned? Things like the do's and the don'ts. We talk a lot about relationships on this show. How do you develop those good relationships? How do you spot the ones that aren't good? Like anything you want to say, like high level bullet points on the do's and don'ts about producing your own stuff.
Totally. Okay, so that's a great question. A loaded question. I feel like one, of course, the story, make sure you're clear on the story, what you want to tell, who you're aligned with to tell that story, making sure you have a wonderful team, great personalities that understand what it takes, because, sometimes not everyone has done it. Valuing people's time, especially if they do favors. Making sure you're mindful of how you're showing up. I would say the biggest, understanding schedules, budgets, how to, what is your goal? Also knowing what your goal is. Not everyone might want their show picked up or their project picked up. Is it because you love the story and that's why you want to make it? Is it because you would like to get it in festivals? Is it because you want to put it out on YouTube? Understanding that end goal definitely helps too. Just so you're clear on what your vision is, because not everyone wants the same thing. Understanding timelines, that's a huge thing. Schedules, how to properly, can you work with other people? Are you a team player? Because it's not just one person, it's a whole bunch of people. So how can you navigate that? Are you a great leader? Do you know how to manage people in a professional and healthy way? Understanding, yes, these relationships are very, very important and people remember how you treat them. Yes, having a great team.
Dang, this is so good.
Yeah, just understanding, development, pre-production, production, post, delivery, wherever you want to deliver it to. It's so many things, but I think if you just make that to-do list, even if it's 100 to-dos, and you break it down into bite-sized pieces, it's I feel like a lot of us, at least once, we've had a job somewhere, And we have been able to execute those tasks there. So if it's for your show or your project or your indie film, break it down. There's so much information out there too. So that's not an excuse either. We can get on YouTube and learn. We can read a book, like take a workshop, get mentorship. So I feel like it's so many things, so many resources out there, but ultimately knowing your vision and fully leaning into that is like the perfect sauce for all this.
Boom. Just listen back to that again and fill out your checklist and go, where do I need to grow? This is the cool thing. I am still learning. I was on set the other day and someone used a term. I said, what does that mean? Because I don't know what that means, so I'm still learning and it's okay to do so. I think it's really important. So yeah, thank you for dropping all of those little knowledge bombs, gems, because we all need those. It's almost like the checklist, is ongoing. And then it's like, do you have mentors? Because those are really hard to come by. But if you ask somebody or just, again, volunteer to help on someone's set, you're going to see all that stuff come and boom, keep going, keep creating and put stuff out in the world. I like that you said know where you want it to go. Because some of my stuff, I'm like, I'm not submitting this to film festivals because I'm not going to put the money in it and I'm not going to wait. Like I have a couple films right now that I did a year ago that I'm still waiting to hear from film festivals because I knew like I wanted to try, but they've been done and ready for a year and nobody has seen them yet, and it's just going like some things need to go straight to YouTube and that's okay. Yeah. It's totally okay. So do that. Know what your audience, what the end goal is. I think that's a really good piece of advice.
Thank you. And these are things I have to tell myself. Like
Well, Cylla, we are really grateful to have you on the show and hear from you and be inspired by you. We are going to encourage people to go follow you on all your stuff and watch Situationships on BET and see all the things that are coming. But let's do our final section of the pod.
Brave Faves. TV shows, films, books, songs, technology, clothing, podcast, food, and more. These are a few of our favorite people, places, and things. Brave Faves.
Okay, I am going to fave my favorite show of late. This is a show that I have faved before, but because it's in season 3, I can say I also have a cool special announcement to go along with this. But this is a show that I have faved before in the past. It's Abbott Elementary. I got to meet Quinta Brunson during the strikes at the Warner Brothers lot, which was super fun. Season 3 is so good. I highly recommend it. It's if you love teaching, if you love mockumentary stuff, season 3 is full of new things. All the characters are just like on point, growing, different, like nuanced. And I have a really cool announcement that we have Brittany Nichols, one of the writers, coming to the film festival this summer. So we're very excited. She is also one of the producers of the show too. It's very exciting. So if you like Abbott Elementary, come to the Bravemaker Film Festival and meet Brittany this summer. She'll do a whole workshop on writing TV, which is super cool.
I'm gonna cry. Oh my god.
When is the festival?
July 11th through the 14th.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're invited. Come on out, Cylla, and hang with us. Parties, fun stuff. Okay. All right, Belgica, what do you have?
Okay, first of all, I absolutely love Abbott Elementary.
Yay!
Incredible. I always talk to people about it because it's just such a good show. If you are not watching this, I'm holding a binder clip, and my brave fave of the week is Self-Tape May. Woo. And if you don't know what it is, it's a challenge that Audrey Moore from Audrey Helps Actors, a podcast, which you should definitely listen to if you're an actor especially. She hosts this challenge where you do 16 self-tapes in May. And so that you don't cheat and film the self-tapes beforehand. You have to show something. And this year it's a binder clip. It's such a great experience. Last year, it pulled me out of a dark place because I wasn't acting, and I did self-tapes, and I was like, oh, like I'm back. I love acting. So follow her, listen to her podcast, and if you're an actor and want to do the challenge, come and do it. You could literally just do all personality auditions and do a slate and then talk about like your favorite food or your favorite vacation or whatever, just to get used to and get better at self-tapes. I think it's a fun time.
I like her podcast. I listened to her before. That's great. Thanks, Belika. What do you got, Cylla?
Yes. Okay. So this week has been crazy, a lot going on. But what has been getting me going is some music. So my favorite song this week is $1 Million Baby by Tommy R, $1 Million Baby.
Tommy Richmond. Is that Tommy Richmond?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Tommy. This is free endorsement for your movie, for your song. I mean, yes. And maybe you want to put that music in Cylla's work sometime in the future because she just gave you that shout out.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Cylla Belhika, thank you so much for being on the show. Stand by while I thank our awesome listeners and watchers. Thank you so much for believing in Bravemaker. We exist to educate, entertain, and create community experiences for justice, diversity, and inclusion with film. And episode 238. If you enjoyed it, if you were encouraged by Cylla, share this, like, subscribe, and share all that fun stuff. Thank you to our producer, Amy Cohen, who was live quoting, and our intern, Jessica Cohen, who is becoming an amazing editor herself. She will take pieces from this show and put it on our Instagram. So make sure to follow us at bravemaker.org. And if you just like to listen, you're probably not watching this, but you're listening to it on our podcast because Barnell Amos, our editor, is cutting up this in the audio version, and our social media producer, Carrie Alley, is doing all of our social media promotion. So thank you to all of our team. Don't forget, July 11th through the 14th is our Bravemaker Film Festival, our 6th annual. We have so many cool VIPs. I just talked about Brittany. We got Nadine Crocker, who's going to be coming to do a whole mental health kickoff for film and her organization called Continue On. We have Olivia Allen. Check her out, actor and podcaster and psychologist, who are going to be here. Ken Whittingham, director and TV cinematographer. So many cool people that you can make connections with, learn from, and possibly ask for mentorship. Possibly. It might just happen. You never know. So July 11th through the 14th, everything is at bravemaker.com/filmfest. And remember, we're a nonprofit. We still not have a presenting sponsor yet. So if you are a corporate sponsor or a charitable person individually, you can text the word Bravemaker, boom, 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 to 44321. That's text the word Bravemaker. It's one word to 44321 and become a donor today. Thank you again to my co-host Belhika. Woo-woo. And to our awesome guest, Cylla. Thank you so much, Cylla. If we don't see you in July, I will see you at Sundance.
Absolutely. Thank you both so much. Thank you. I loved this podcast.
Yeah. Tell your friends. Send us your creative, talented people who want to be on the show, because we're always looking for cool people.
Absolutely. I will.
Okay. Awesome. All right, everybody. Brave stories change the world.
And you are the story.
Yes. Bye, everybody.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at bravemaker.org. Like, subscribe, and share. To become a monthly donor, text the word Bravemaker to 44321 or go to bravemaker.com/donate. Thanks for tuning in.